Hey folks, I'm currently staying in a place called Brunswick Heads. There's a local Brunswick Heads Facebook community page, and just recently somebody posted in this community page on Facebook a slanderous, anti-white, racial slur and attack against me for what reason? Of course, for being white and not anti-white enough. What does that mean? That means I'm a white man and I don't hate myself. So if there's a person out there who's anti-white, right, so they just have this ingrained, inbuilt hatred, a bias to hate all white people, all right, because I don't hate myself, that's in contradiction to their internal hatred of members of Western kind. So white folk, members of Western kind, and therefore, whether they realize it or not, so consciously or unconsciously, they become resentful and angry, and they want to lash out and attack in a manner in which they have been conditioned to do so from within the anti-white narrative. How do they know to attack and lash out? With slander, anti-white slander. So they call me things like the R word, obviously. They said that I'm something about being against this or that group of people, naming specific ethnicities and saying that I have some form of hostility towards this or that ethnicity, which, as we all know, is obviously another extension of the slanderous anti-white framing of trying to put someone under the category of the R word. So, and what is the R word? Well, in this day and age, it's the N word, but for white people. If you label someone with the R word, that takes away their human rights, their humanity, dehumanizes them, all right? Or takes away the legitimacy of them as an individual and their well-being, which then leaves them vulnerable to attacks, etc., being mistreated, being abused, neglected, harmed, even potentially murdered. And this is a very serious thing. People are murdered on a daily basis. White folk are murdered on a daily basis simply because they're labelled with an anti-white slur or anti-white connotation or pretexts, even if only within the mind of an individual. So they just think that about a person, and then that leads them to murder that person. Recently, there's even been cases of literal five-year-old little white boys just riding their bike in their front yard, and someone coming up, pulling a gun out, point blank, executing an innocent 5-year-old. Why? Because he was white, and he had a smile on his face, this 5-year-old boy, and he was riding his bike. He was happy. So again, that's exactly the same reason why I was attacked in this post on Facebook recently in this community group.